बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार, बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार। पाकी नाही पाक थाए, पाकी नाही पाक थाए, सच्चा परवरदिगार बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार। आख आख मनवा मन वावड़ा, जो जो जापे वाए, जिसनु वाए सुनाई, जिसनु वाए सुनाई, सोच के वड कित थाए, आखण वाले जेतड़े सब आख रहे ने बुलाए, बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार, बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार। पाकी नाई पाक थाए, पाकी नाई पाक थाए, सच्चा परवरदिगार बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार। पीर पैगामरी सालक सादिक, शोहदे और शहीद, शेख मसायक काजी मुल्ला, शेख मुसायक काजी मुल्ला, दर दर वेद रसीद, बरकत तिन गाओ अगली, बरकत तिन गाओ अगली, पर्दे रहन दहूद बाबा अल्लाह अगम अगाए, बाबा अल्लाह अगम अगाए। तेरा हुक्म जा पी के तड़ा, लिख न जाने को, जे सौ सायर में लिए दिल न बुझावे को, दिल न बुझावे रोए, कीमत किने न बाइया, सब सुन सुन आखे सोए, कुछ न साजे कुछ न ढाहे, कुछ न साजे कुछ न ढाए, कुछ न देवेले सबना वेखे नजर करी जे भावे तांदे बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार बाबा अल्लाह अगम अबार थावा नाम न जानिए नाम के वडना जिथे वसे मेरा बादशाह सो के वडहता अंबर कोई न सकई हाउ किसनो पूछण जाओ वर्णा वर्ण न भावणी वर्णा वर्ण न भावणी जे किसे वड्डा करे वड्डे हाथ वडिया वड्डे हाथ वडिया जो भावे तेंदे हुक्म सवारे आपने चसाना ढिल करे सब को आखे बहुत बहुत लेने के विचार सबको आके बहुत बहुत लेने के विचार केवड़ दाता आखिए देख रया सुमार नानक तो डनाया नानक तो डनाया वही तेरे जुगे जुगे भंडार बाबा अल्लाह अगम अपार बाबा अल्लाह अगम अपार। In our last sitting, we concluded the Vani of Fifth Mahal, and today we will be starting on a new journey. The title is Ashtpadi. Asht means 8. So each hymn consists of 8 shlokas, 8 subsets, and they will start on a topic. Even though when you read them individually, they will appear to be unique, different. Yet when you dive deeper into them, you will find that actually they are telling a story. They are creating a word picture for us. So when you start something, all mystical traditions, they require a basic discipline, which is think of the highest possible source with which you can identify. So now the question is, who that would be for you? When, if you go to the Western culture and you go back to the original source, when Abraham was asked by the voice, sacrifice that what is the dearest and the nearest and the closest. What comes to the mind? Well, to Abraham, his son came to the mind. And we have to ask that question of ourselves. What comes to the mind? What is the highest for us? Who should we remember when we are taking a new journey? And Gurbani make a suggestion. So that's what I recited to you. In Rahao, Gurbani said, Allah, Baba, Allah, Agama, Apar. Now the word Baba is used for those who are on the journey and have achieved a certain state of higher consciousness. You and I are not included in that. The Baba is not for everyone. And I shouldn't say about you. I should say about myself. I'm sorry. I apologize. I take it back. I am not there. It's not for me. Those who are on that journey, for them, the very first memory would be of the highest, which is Allah, means Allah. Agam. Agam word comes from go, the senses. Something that cannot be contained in the senses, which is not a subject of the intellect, which cannot be experienced with the way we experience. I take a sip of tea, I have taste buds. I experience this. Can I taste it? Not yet. But he can be tasted. It has been done. It is not a lie. It's not a fib. It's not a myth. It's not a poetic imagination. It has been done. Because it has become part of their existence. As breathing is for us, that taste for those who have achieved certain is to them. So, the very first hymn reminds we are on a journey, and journey demands a discipline, a basic requirement, which is bring him closer to your thinking process, imagination process. For now it is just imagining. And if you stay steadfast and stay persistent and stay disciplined enough and continue on that path without adding any other dimension to it, means what? Well, some people go on the path. Why? Because I have a very bad pain of arthritis, and so I need some cure for it. So let me remember him for a little while, and then please help me in this. And once the pain in the knee joint is gone, now you go to, I have other thing to do. Huh? Any desire, whether it is of this world or for that matter that world, make me a better and higher saint than that saint. Make me more popular, get me more disciples, make my temple bigger than that guy, and I'm willing to work for you. Now, if that is the objective, what will happen? The result is obvious. Once you get there, the motivation is going to disappear. And the journey is going to stop. And you will never be able to call yourself a Baba. It will stop. Nature has this mysterious way of judging the people. It opens a door of mystery for you, and then it observes you, how you deal with that knowledge that has just been given to you. Some people turn it into business. Some people cannot contain it and go completely berserk. It is so overwhelming. They just lose the entire balance. Some people become preachers, masters, self-proclaimed master, and go to the world and say, I am on the top of the mountain. Even though all they got was a little glimpse. They declared the word. And Gurbani recognizes them. They say, Seva thodi, mangan bahuta, महल न पावे कह तो पाहुता. Very simple words. Seva thodi, very little effort. Mangan bahuta, desired reward is very, very great. Mahal na pave, haven't achieved anything yet. Kehto pahuta, has declared to the world that I have arrived. I have achieved the highest state that there is to be achieved. And there is no need to go searching for such people. They come to you. You don't have to search hard for them. So Gurbani starts the first hymn and says, you have to bear in mind what? Baba Alloho Agam Apar. Apar means on the other side, the beyond. Last time we talked about these three dimensions. Urar, Par, and then Apar. Urar means on this side, Par means on the other side, and Apar means on no sides. Something that cannot be caught in the words. It's not slave of the language. And for a human being, it is not possible to tell which is this side and which is that side. Go ahead, think about it. If you're standing on this side of the river, you'll say, this is this side. And when you go on the other side, you go, no, this is this side. And you can argue till cows come home and you will not decide. And if you have such a difficulty in such a simple thing, imagine if you are going to define something which doesn't belong to any dimension. And the Gurbani says, recognize that. Bring that closer to your consciousness. Baba, Alloh Agam Apar, Paki Nai Pak Thai Sacha Parvagadgar. Pak literally means the purest of the pure. It is a Persian word. You heard a word Pakistan? You know where it came from? Satan means the place to live. And Pak means the purest of the pure. That's how that word was coined. How did the word Hindustan come from? Stan means the place to live. Hindu, the people who lived, not the Hindus. It's a mistake that we think it is because the Hindus live there. No, the Stan was established between the Indus Valley. The word was Industan. It became Hindustan. Slowly. It has nothing to do with the Hindu religion. And the Britishers didn't like that at all, so they didn't like Bharat, they didn't like Hindustan, they called it India. India word is strictly given by the Britishers. It had nothing to do with the Indian culture. Anyway, that's a side footnotes for you. Paki Nahi. Paki Nai. Nai means the name. How are you going to name him? The purest of the pure. Paki nai, pak thai. And where does he live? Well, in the purest of the pure state. Anybody who thinks that God lives in a certain place, space, time, has made his God very, very small. Has literally brought it down, have insulted him so much, that lowered his stature so much, locked him into a sin building. And we all have done it. God lives in this temple, in that mosque, in that church, in that temple. We all have done it. Gurbani reminds us, no, he's all pervading. He's here, there, everywhere, and nowhere. So, wherever the truth is manifested, he is. And then we get offended by those terms also. What do you mean he is? Why not she is? And then we get offended by that. And as a matter of fact, some of you may have heard the title of the book. God is a Christian. If not, go get in the library. Somebody tries to prove it that God is a Christian. There are few like me who's trying to prove that God actually was a black man. And he actually originally did not come anywhere in the Western. He actually came in Sahara Desert. I submit to you that any word, every word that you use for him will be wrong. That's what Gurbani is saying. It is beyond the words. Don't try to attach your labels to him. Paki nai, pak thai, sacha parvardgar. Parvardgar means the one who sustains everything. Palana. That is the beauty of the names chosen for the Creator. That every name that you will pick actually fits like a glove fits to the hand. My mother can name me Sher Singh, right? Do I look like a Sher Singh to you? The name is a tiger, right? And if there is a little noise in the dark and he tells his wife, go check who's there. Well, why don't you go see it? I remember actually a real example, and some of the friends here probably can relate with that. The family went camping. And now when they are making the arrangements to sleep, they have the tent in the, after about 5 minutes when they lie down, the wife tells the husband, you come on the door side. I want to go in the middle. He says, why? Well, I don't know. There may be a bear there, there may be a tiger there, etc. And the husband turns around. You would rather be a widow than rather lose a limb or something? Is that a better bargain for you? That somebody may come and scare the life out of you, that you're not going to live with it, but somebody can take your husband away from you, that you're comfortable with. Well, that's a nice thought. What does it tell us? Our names never map to our characteristics. Whereas, that name will always map, it does not matter which name you pick. Go ahead. We just got one name, Parvardgar. And if he takes pity on somebody, the word Rahim. Rahim comes from the one who does Rahm. One who has a pity on somebody. Is he not Rahim? So Gurbani says, why do you worry about this? All words will fit and all words will fall miserably short. Because it won't be able to explain the whole thing. It can only explain some of it. A part will never know the whole. So drop the foolishness. You would never know that. But the man arrogance doesn't have any boundary. It comes back to you and he will argue with you that 100 years ago nobody could have imagined that we will land on the moon. Today we have landed on the moon. What tells you that we would not find the ultimate answer? And they keep on hoping on that. Whereas a mystic is saying, I understand your journey, but you remain a part of the whole. What scientific invention you can conceive of in your imagination which will defy that logic? A part will never be equal to the whole. It is a scientific law. It's not a natural law, it's a scientific law. So why don't you accept? I was reading the argument between the evolutionist and nowadays they have found a new term. They don't call God anymore. They call it an intelligent design. Now there are two camps. Darwinian evolutionists and the proponents of intelligent design. And they were arguing. And one of the argument was by the evolutionists that we have so far through our search found every missing link as to how the human evolved from a monkey. And that argument was completed when they found a sea living animal actually which is they found has actually legs, who can also walk and survive for a longer period of time. So they have found the linkage that yes, the life started in the water and started in the ocean, and then it grew and came onto the earth, and then it grew, and we were actually not bipeds. Bipeds mean 2 feet. So we were actually on the 4. What we are using as our arms are actually our legs. And they are saying we have all the links. And if there is any question that is not answered yet, someday it will be answered. Why don't you have that as a, what's the next word? Faith. If we have found so much, why wouldn't be able to find that one? Why don't you have the faith? And I said, bingo. Eventually everything comes down to the faith. So Gurbani starts us with that basic faith. Have a faith. On what? Baba, Allo Agama Apar, Paki Nai Pak Thaye Sacha Parvardgar Rahao. So that's the central theme to start the new journey. Where did it start from? Shri Rag Mehla Pehla, Kar Pehla, Ashtpadiyan. So understand the title. Shri Rag, the raga, the hymns, the scale that it was composed in, Mehla Pehla, first master, Karpela, meaning the rhythm, the beat, ek tal. Fatmaji can tell you what ek tal is, I don't know. So, Ashtpadiyan. The meter is in 8 pade. So we will see that. It starts, Akh Akh man vavana jyu jyu jape vai. Now look at the world around you. What are they doing? Akh Akh. They are discussing it. And they are discussing it ad infinitum. There is not a subject on this planet for which as many books has been written. Except one. And that's religion. You take any other discipline of science, technology, you will find that there are, handful of authors who have done some work. But about religion, everybody has something to say about it. And there are so many books, so much paper, and so much ink has been spent on it. And what was the end result? Did they find anything? Did they get anywhere closer to it? That's why the next word is Akh Akh Man Vavana. Literally translated, apne aap nu khapana hi hai. Right? It's just beating your head against a wall which will never move. So, look around the history of the mankind. Doesn't matter which part of the world you live, what language you speak, what religion you follow, what culture you belong to. It is totally irrelevant to this. Go through those books and then ask yourself, if whatever is written in this book, has the knowledge of this book gotten me anywhere closer to that experience? I submit to you that knowledge will make you smarter so that you can converse, so that you can discuss, so that you can argue and debate. At the end of this, you will just be as empty as you can. Because knowledge and knowing are totally different dimensions. Knowledge is only information. I always share this example, that you can read a book on swimming and it will show you with diagrams how you are supposed to swim. How many beats of the hand and how many beats of the legs and what should be the angle, what should be the contour and what type of clothes you should wear, and it will tell you all and you can memorize it. And you can sit in the examination and you can get a PhD degree on swimming. The only time you would know what swimming is when somebody picks you up and throws you in water. And then you can remember all those things in it. I drew that with the chalk on the blackboard. It wouldn't help you. Because that is knowledge. Yes, you are a professor. You appear to talk intelligently. It appears that you know about it. But do you? You can read the books on love. And if you have never experienced love, when somebody in love comes to you, it won't make any sense. And I know majority of the mothers who have children have gone through this. But mom, I love him. Well, what do you see in him? He's not educated, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have a car. But mom, I love him. That's experience. That's knowledge. And Gurbani says, without experience, you are wasting the entire life, entire effort. Akh, akh, man, vavana. Vavana means apne aap nu khapana. To waste the whole life. Jyu jyu jape vai. More you discuss it, more you argue about it, more you try to justify my God is this. And somebody says, no, my God is that. That's a blind leading a blind. A deaf arguing with a mute. They will not get anywhere. Because words have never captured that experience. जिसनु वाए सुनाइए सो केवड़ के तथाए. The subject that you are talking about, जिसनु वाए सुनाइए. Why means कह के गल्ला कर रहे हो. You know, you're talking, you're exchanging. The subject that you're talking about, do you have any idea where it is? What it is? Have you ever known it? Or experienced it? Ever felt it? If you haven't, let me tell you, आखण वाले जेतड़े सब आख रहे लिवलाए. There are only one kind of those who have talked about it. Only one kind. And what is that quality? Look at the beauty how the next line is automatically going to dovetail into like this. Watch how the Bani is building it. Akhan wale jitne. Of all of those who have actually discussed and said, there's only one type of those who have gone anywhere. And what are those? Aakh rahe levalai. Those who said in such a way that they became one in one. They meditated, they chanted, they repeated in such a way that they got to the stage of live. If you want to simplify it, you start with chanting. Chanting becomes automatic. It becomes simran. And if the simran goes deeper, it becomes live. And if the live becomes deeper, it becomes samadhi. That's the highest state of consciousness in a physical body form to be experienced. And those who are there, levelai, for them, the next word is Baba, Allo Agamapar. The third stage, Tisra Pad, Gyan Khand. The first step, Dharma Khand, second step, Gyan Khand, third step, Sarma Khand, and the fourth step, Karma Khand. And Karma Khand which कौन है? जिन्होंने बाणी पढ़ी है, जो सवेरे रोज रिपीट कर दे हो जब जी कर्म खंड की बाणी जोर दिथे होर ना कोई होर दिथे जोध महाबल सूर तिन में राम रया भरपूर तिथे भगत वसे के लोए करे आनंद सचा मन सोए. That's कर्म खंड. कृपा दा खंड. कृपा दा खंड की है. कर्म खंड की बाणी जोर. जोर मीन्स जोड़ना, जुड़ जाना. Once you are one with one, not because what you did, now becomes a paradox. Wait a minute, you're asking me to meditate and then you're saying I'm not going to get it because I do it? What kind of nonsense is this? Then why should I do it? Haha. You need to start doing, and your doing should become so perfect that you should become a non-doer. The doer should drop. Only doing remains. When only doing is left and the doer is disappeared, His grace comes in. Because as long as the doer is there, grace will never come. A simple metaphor can, the day the child is helpless, even when the mother is not around, the nature comes around. Have you ever seen a little child crying, mother not close by, and any other mother should walk by without noticing it? Would never happen. nature will come in one form or the other. Why? Child is helpless. Right? Then the same child grows up and says, I'm not a kid anymore. Don't treat me like a child. It's, aha, get out. Make your money, pay your bills. Why? Because you're not a child anymore. You don't want to be treated like a child anymore, so get the hell out. But so long as I'm a child, does any mother tell a child, go first milk your cow and then drink your milk? She will say whether the milk is coming through me or not, but I'm available to you. Why? Because you're helpless. Same is with the Creator. As long as we are children and we stay children and we behave as children, He says, that's fine, I'll take care of you. And then say, no, I'm not, I'm the doer. So, okay, go. And as long as you are the doer, keep doing. No, but Father, I want to come to you. You are the doer. Go. And that's the message here. That when you are the doer of anything, the grace is not possible. Your doing has to get to that level of perfection where the doing is there, but the doer dies. The doer is no more. And it happens once in a while to some accomplished artists. I have seen with my own eyes. Somebody was talking to a very renowned Indian artist who plays santoor. You know who that is? Santoor, the master kaun hai? Shanta Prasad, please use the name. Huh?
शिव कुमार से संतूर है.
Santoor the Shiv Kumar?
हाँ, शिव कुमार से ना. हाँ.
Somebody asked him, say, what was your greatest performance? And he said, once in my lifetime, I was playing a santoor in the wee hours of the morning. I finished my performance, packed my bags, left the stage. There were 4,000 people in the hall, and everybody forgot to clap. That was my greatest performance. Can you see that? What he's saying?
So absorbed.
The concept of the time disappeared, to not only to himself but to the listener. They experienced the state of timelessness, where only the music remained, the musician disappeared. Now, unless in your meditative states you can get to that level, Gurbani warns us, you will not experience the Karma Khand. And those who have experienced the Karma Khand, for them, this becomes a mantra for every day, which is Baba, Allo, Agam Apar, Paki Nai Pagathaye, Sacha Parvartagar. He is. It's accepted. It's acknowledged. It is everywhere. He's not in anyone. And He's everyone. He's not anywhere. And He is everywhere. When you get to that stage, you certainly see the truth of this statement, which is, Tera hukam na japi ke tada, likh na jane koe. Everybody says, Thy will be done. But what is your will? Who knows it? How to document it? Because the will depends on the creator, and the creator has so much varied creation that the will also changes with the creation. What is the will for me may not be necessarily the will for you. For you. The will is different for everyone. Isn't it? Right from the birth we know it. We wonder many times, oh, these are the two children, same mother, same father, same house, same everything. Why are they so different? What's going on here? The DNA is the same. Bloodline is the same. So, if the DNA is the same, what makes them different? Because the science can only look at the DNA. Science has no idea what is brought with from the beyond. It is that element from the beyond that makes us different from each other. Well, science has a term for it. They call it nature and nurture. But the nurture does not include everything. Because I submit to you that I have met the people who actually were nurtured also exactly the same way in the same environment, yet they are different. And now they have found an interesting variant of the DNA problem. A mother had twins, one turned out to be black, the other turned out to be white. Some of you may have read it on the internet. The children from the mixed parentage, from the mother side, who had the mixed parents, and she married the white man, and she gave birth to the twins, and they are saying that it's one of the rarest thing, but looking at the DNA, completely possible. They have justification for it now. Anyway, again, that's a side footnote. Nature and nurture doesn't capture everything. You cannot simplify the life in these two things. And that's what Gurbani is pointing out here. Tera hukam na japi ke tada. Everybody says thy will be done. Hukam. Will. But what is it? How is anybody going to document it? Because the hukum for a dog is not the same as the hukum for a cat. Hukum for a male is not the same as hukum for a female. Hukum for a younger brother is not the same as hukum for the elder brother. Hukum comes with every individual. The will comes with every individual. It's uniquely identified. How do you know this? Nanak said that 500 years ago. So, hukum razai chalana Nanak likhya naal. Tere andar likhya. Tere naal hai. Jis tu jamme tere naal peche hai usme. The day you were born, that hukum was given to you. It is with you. It is inside you. You just have to shut up the monkey inside. Enough. So that you can hear that inner voice. It's there. Nobody needs to tell you. I mean, we can see the simple examples, right? I mean, somebody, the food is cooked very well. माँ दी दाल बनाई है, रात में ज़्यादा खा गया, सवेरे टेढ़ पीड़ हो रही है, right? It's a simple lentils. What happened? Well, I ate more. Stomach is upset. The other say, I ate with you, but his stomach is not upset. It's the same lentils. Well, for you, the hukum was different than you. And you knew it. You should not have eaten more. You already knew that. And if you already did not know that, know it now. And listen to that hukum. Too much of that type of a lentil soup is not good for you. So don't eat it. The hukum has spoken. But when it's so tasty, how the hell to stop? Most of the time you say, don't bring any bread, just bring the lentils. Soup, bring the soup. जाएगा ना गुरुद्वारे दाल का कौला भर दे तो रोटी खाने isn't it?
Yes.
Why? The damn thing is so tasty. But it is not good for you. Well, it is alright. I have Pepto-Bismol at home. Hukam cannot be documented in a single book and handed out to everybody. It will not work. Because it differs for the individuals. That is why when we argue with each other, this food is good, that drink is bad, that clothes are good, that clothes are bad, these... Wait a minute. Nothing is good and nothing is bad because it depends on the individual. If vegetarian is not holy and non-vegetarian is not unholy, and vice versa. To some only vegetarian food can be good and to some only non-vegetarian can be good. Stop arguing. Stop fighting. I have seen people who sat in a bar and drank all night and in the evening sat in the car and drove home as if nothing has happened. And I have seen the people who took one drink and they needed to be dragged home. To some it works, to some it doesn't. Stop sitting in judgment. That is the problem. We are judges and juries and convictioner and executioner all tied into one. And Jesus said in a very simple thing. Judge ye not, lest thou shalt be judged. Simple thing. But we can't stop that habit. Isn't it? Eh changa hai te eh mada hai. How do you know that? This is good and that's bad. झूठ बोलना कोई चंगी गल हुंदी है? Okay. Telling a lie is always bad, is it? What if a young girl is running on the street and comes and hides in your house? Somebody's raping me, chasing me, he's going to rape me, please hide. And he knocks on your door. Did you see a girl? Would you tell the truth? Would you lie? But I thought you just said lying is always bad. Is killing always bad? Then why have an army? If killing is always bad, it's our tax money which supports the army. We are actually raising the people only to kill other people. Those people which they have never met, they have never known, they had no enmity among themselves. They just happen to wear a different uniform. And we raise them. We pay for them. These are extreme examples. Good and bad, right and wrong, is not the domain of human beings. We have made it to ourselves that way. Oh, come on, if we go that way, the whole society will become mad. Is that so? So you are doing this not for yourself, you are doing it for the sake of society. And if you didn't do that, God is going to take a vacation and disappear. Right? You are managing the society, God is not. There's no other power who's taking care of it. You are. Right? Isn't that what we do? Which is the common thing. If everybody becomes a saint, what will happen to the world? Now you're worried about the world, right? Who gave you that responsibility? You just take care of yourself. Become a saint. That's okay. We can deal with it. There are 6 billion people. Even about 1 million of them would be okay. Just go ahead. Don't worry about what will happen to the world. Because these are all words. मन नू खपाण वाली गल है एंड गुरबाणी अज याद दिला रही है आखण वाले जेतड़े सब आख रहे लिवलाए बाबा अल्लो अगम अगपार पाकी नाई पाक थाए सच्चा परवरदगार तेरा हुक्म न जापी केतड़ा लिख न जाने कोई. Nobody has been able to ever document it. All the scriptures written, and they are written in the name of God. God said this. I submit to you, God has never said anything to anyone. He has said a few things through someone, because that's the only medium. They may be inspired individual at a higher level of consciousness, and because they don't want to sound egotistical and say, I am saying it, they may be using the terms, God said it. But if you are going to take this now literally and start killing the people because this is a God's word, actually you are far more maniacal than the one who's doing the killing. You have become a maniac. You are no more inspired. Because God has never said anything. God did not suddenly decide that now, since, and if you go to the Islamic culture, they tell you. They have interpreted the book in such a way, which says, after this there shall be no more inspired people. That's the last word. It has been perfected, hence there is no need more to change it. So they deny any saint afterward, any mystic afterward, any messenger afterward is not acceptable. So Bible accepts the Jesus, Quran accepts the Moses, Jesus and Muhammad, and then it stops. No more. And there could not be more misspoken words than that. Because the earth has never been without inspired people. It has never been empty of them. Har yug yug bhagato paya. There has been no yuga, there has been no time and space when there was no God conscious soul on this planet. It has never happened, and it will never happen. There will always be one. You know who said that? Not Guru Nanak first. Remember the metaphor from Jesus, the lost sheep? What is the lost sheep?
The
one who has broken the mettle of the society and chosen to go on his own way. The story goes that the sheep herder came home and counted the sheep, and there was one sheep lost. And it's dark in the outside, and he picks his staff and he is ready to go out with a little lamp, kerosene lamp. And the neighbor asks him, "What's wrong with you? There are thousands of sheep here. If one is lost, what's the big deal?" And he said, "She is the most valuable sheep. I need that. I need to find it." Who's the sheep here? Me. People like us. What's the quality of a sheep? When it walks, it never lifts the head up. It keeps the head down. So if the head is down, how are you going to find the direction? How does the sheep find the direction? It looks on the hind legs of the next sheep. So whereas that sheep is going, this sheep is going there also. That's why it's called paid child.
What about the first ones who don't have that?
The first one follows the herder. Sheep herder never walks behind the herd, they always go ahead of the herd, so that they can come here.
And his head is up.
He's going his own. So what are we doing? We find somebody with a saffron clothes or a white clothes with a some interesting hairdo or beard or whatever, and then He says, follow me. And then we start fighting with the neighbors. That saint was better than yours. You should have followed us. Anybody following anybody develops a sheep mentality. The way to the creative energy has always been found by those who chose to follow, to go alone. They weren't afraid of it, and they did not want to follow anybody. Because God has never appeared to anyone the same way twice. That creative energy has always remained a virgin for every saint. And if you want to experience that, you have to learn to walk alone. And the day you declare to the world that you are going on a journey, you don't have to walk alone. They will leave you. He's gone mad. It's perfectly okay. Yesterday, I don't know what the nonsense he's talking about now. He wants to sit in meditation and he wants to be quiet. And earlier he used to tell jokes and now he doesn't want to talk to anybody. He's gone mad. Leave him alone. I don't want you. Get out of my life.
Sannyasi ho gaya.
Automatic. Why? Because you are not following the sheep mentality. You are not coming along with us. Right? And Gurbani says, nobody has been able to document it. There is not a fixed path for it. There is not a process for it. You can only be motivated. Once you are motivated, you will always end up making your own path. Kabir is not the same as Farid. Farid is not the same as Ravidas. Ravidas is not the same as Namdev. It doesn't matter who you look at. They were all unique, walking on their own path for one objective. Just one objective. Nothing was acceptable short of, I want to experience you. That's it. No other desire. No other objective. I want to bring you. You are there. You are hidden here. I want to bring you out. I want to meet you. And then a time comes. I'm going to throw a monkey wrench here. You're going to have to give up that desire also. When the time comes, even that desire will disappear. You will just be. Pure consciousness without any observation or object or anything else. Just be. That statement, the question is to be or not to be. People just try to create the modality of the sound as to how to declare that dialogue on a stage.
Shakespeare's.
I have yet to find a dramatist to actually translate that. What does it mean? What he's trying to say? The question for the whole mankind has always been that. To be or not to be. If you decide to not to be, you can be him. So long you continue desiring to be, you will keep on getting further and further and further away. It is your desire to be is the separation. That's your original sin. I am different than you are. That was original sin. I am. When the Eve tasted from the tree of knowledge, the first awareness was not of the sex. That is the translation by somebody who hates sex. Because they had no clue what sexuality is. All they could see, your body is different than mine. That means I am different than you. So I am I, you are you. This I created I and he is him. Basic gap. Now, he will remain he and I will remain I. Twin shall never meet. Hence the separation. Hence the original sin. The birth of the first ego. If you want to experiment, just talk to a child who's just learning to talk. Because the I has not developed yet. And you call him Bittu or a Babu. And he will say, Babu is hungry. He doesn't know yet. He cannot say, I am hungry, because I has not evolved yet. And say, oh, Babu is hungry. Where is Babu hungry? He will point to the stomach. Something, because stomach is growling. And he is expressing the feeling. And he will say, because that's all he knows. You call him by the name of Babu, and he comes by the name of Babu. And when Babu's stomach growls, he is not going to say, I am hungry. He will say, Babu is hungry. Then he will grow. And then the first word that you will hear from him is mine. That will be it. Share with your sister. No, it's mine. Give it to me. No, it's mine. What's happening? I is taking its roots. It's growing up now. It's becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And a time will come when that I will become a Hitler, a Genghis Khan, and Napoleon, and Alexander, who will say, I am going to rule the world. That I can grow that big. And Gurbani is saying, so long as that consciousness remains, you cannot get to the state of Baba. So you need to make a choice. To be or not to be. I know, by the way, it is a conscientious choice, not enforced upon anybody. Go read the history of every bhagt. ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਮਾਂ ਬਾਪ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਭਗਤ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾਇਆ. Go read the history. ਮਾਂ ਬਾਪ ਝਗੜੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. There are no parents who are raising the meditators automatically, saints automatically. Everybody wants to raise a president, a doctor, an engineer, a businessman, somebody who can make money, somebody who can bring more wealth. How much wealth? And I have not found a parents who can just say, if you bring so much, we'll be happy. And if you have figured that out within your own life, that if I get so much, I'll be happy, I dare you, the day you get that, you are not going to be happy. Because you're going to want more. Because more you have, the fear of losing that more has also grown up along with it. I have $2. Oh, I better not lose. What will happen if I lose $2? Okay, let me buy the insurance. Okay, so I go get 2 more. And that 2 is supposed to be the insurance for the first 2. But now I got 4. What if I lose all 4? Let me go get an insurance. So I get 4 more. So now they become 8. What happens if I lose all 8? And you can do the math. More you get, the fear of losing that will grow with it. Hence, you will always be trying to protect what you have by bringing more. That's the nature of the beast. It will never happen. Has never happened. Yet, we have not given up on it yet. And Gurbani says, that will has neither been documented nor it can be documented. Je sao shayar mein liye. Shayar literally means shair, the poet. Means the people who are writing it. Those who are in the habit of taking a pen and a pencil and write, you can bring all of them, collect them from all around the world and put them on one place and ask them to write it up, and they will not be able to do so. Till na pujave roe. Till mean even a fraction. Till literally stands for sesame seed. That's what till is. See, you would not be able to document that much. Because the creation is that great. कीमत किने ना पाया सब सुन आखे सोए. Nobody been able to put a value on what you have, what you are. So what is this going on? You're going to say, well, sab sun aakhe soe. All that's going on is, I heard from somebody, so I'm repeating to you, and you will hear from me and repeat somewhere else, and they will hear from you and repeat somewhere else. That's all that's going on. Just pure repetition. Without the experience, just a borrowed basa last day's news being repeated again and again and again. Sun vadda aakhe sab koe. Right? Everybody say God is great. Sun, you heard from someplace. What? Vadda means great. And what are you doing? Sun vadda aakhe sab koe. You have started telling everybody he's great. Yeah, how do you know that? Why are you repeating what you just heard? Then what should I do? No. The purpose of saying that to you was to create a desire in you that you should say, oh, how great is he? Let me find out. Let me experience for myself. I want to know for myself. Somebody said he's very great. But how great is he? I'm going to find out for myself. The whole purpose of saying that was for you to get to this stage. Next line repeats that. It says, Keval vadda ditha hoye. जदों डिठ लेगा, जिसको अंदर देख लेगा, उस दिन पता लगेगा कि वो किड्डा का वड्डा है. तो हमें रौला पाना शुरू कर देता. दुनिया को क्या लगते हैं, बड़ा वड्डा है, बड़ा वड्डा है. Just repeating. He's great, he's great, he's great. God is great, God is. Go see for yourself before you repeat it. Keval vadda ditha hoye. You have to see for it. Ditha means to see inside, from within. You have to experience it. There should be an urge in you. There should be a yearning in you that I am going to see for myself. But what you do instead? 5 philosophers are not enough. Let's get 500 of them and ask them. If they all say that, it must be right. Now the interesting thing is, why they say it's right? You wrote a book, so I read your book, so I say, reference, acknowledgement, bibliography, book by so and so, page number so. Right? So now it is in 2 books. Now you are ready to write it, so now you read both of them. And in your book, there will be 3 references. Book by that, book by this, book by me. And suddenly, the bibliography is filling. We are giving the credit. I heard from so and so. I heard from so. And everybody is referring everybody. Without any one of them knowing for themselves ever. And what's the argument? Well, if so many are saying, they must be right. Look at the fallacy of the argument. Isn't that what the history is about? Oh, this has been written for 1,000 years. It must be right. Or is it? Well, look at so many books. Well, the books were written by reading somebody else's book. Now, I can give you a cynic's view of history. A history can never be right.
I mean, history,
I-
you're saying literally what is written in the books cannot never be right.
It can never be right. But
History and the other.
it matters not where it is. I'll give you an example. Here is a piece of paper. The word on this paper, it comes from the sixth holy book. To the sixth is the word of God. Right? If I tear that piece of paper, what is it to a Sikh? How would he document it? The God was insulted that day by so and so. The word was defiled. It was defamed. It was disrespected. Isn't it? How would somebody who's not a Sikh will write? Same instance. To give an example, the orator took a piece of paper and tore it apart to create it in an atmosphere to drive his point home. It's the same instance. The person who has actually witnessed this is documenting it. What's happening here? The writer's bias can never be ever eliminated. Hence, the event will be documented through the bias of the writer. So what is being documented is not the event. What is being documented is the event seen through the bias of the writer. History can never be right. So when you read it, don't take it home. Don't take it to heart. Somebody was talking to me about a movie that was recently made about a Sikh history. And the history was about the life of the two youngest sons of Guru Gobind Singh. Some of you probably have seen it. And in that, the scene that they picturized is that it's documented that the youngest two sons were captured by the Subedar of Sirhind, and he wanted them to convert it by force, and they would not submit to that. They preferred death, and they were first made to stand up straight, and the two walls were erected around their bodies. And then when the idea was that as the wall is building up, those children, which was 7 years and 9 years of age, would eventually capitulate. And they did not. Now the younger one is shorter. So his head is now touching the top wall, and so the executioner comes in, take a sword and chops his head off. And now is ready to put the next layer of the thing, waiting for the 9 years old to submit, and he is not submitting. Eventually, both are killed. And the person who gave that order, the king or the... Now, when that news goes to Guru Gobind Singh, and he then sends his arrow to kill that executioner. So they picturize it dramatically that he is trying to hide and the arrow is chasing him. And eventually arrow finds him and kills him. And I asked somebody, I said, you guys are spending so much money on this, and you are sitting here and crying tears, etc. For what? Well, he kills two innocent people. I said, yeah, but if Guru Gobind Singh had that mystical power that he could send an arrow to kill him, why wait till the children are killed? Why not do it before? Does it make sense to you? That he used a mystical power, but used the mystical power after the children were gone. Why didn't he save them if he wanted to save them? Or if now you want to tell him that he is a revengeful father? He wasn't revengeful before? Don't you see what has been written by whom? But we fall into those traps all the time.
What's the truth? He didn't send the arrow.
Can't fight.
He was not there.
I just said that. History never tells the truth. All we know that the two children were captured and they were tortured and they were killed. That's about it.
Taking the advantage of the emotions.
Emotions. So the writer's bias is showing, right? Just as the same, Baisakhi. Guru Gobind Singh took 5 people in the tent and then chopped their head off and then made them alive. Isn't that the story? And then they start arguing. Well, did he kill them? Yeah, we saw the blood on the sword. Is miracles allowed in Sikhism? No. Because his father just died for that cause alone only few years ago. Where Aurangzeb insisted that all I want from you is, I am sitting in the north. The people from Delhi are telling me that you are a saint, and then the people from Lahore are telling me you are a fake. How should I decide? Show me a miracle. He said, I'm not going to show you the miracle. Miracle is a manifestation of the ego. It is challenging the will of God. The only miracle is what He does. Don't you see the miracle every day? Sun comes up, moon comes up, new leaves come up, the birds are singing. Isn't that miracle enough for you? No. But if you are a saint, you should have some miracles. But then I'm going to have to kill you. He said, that's okay. You do what you have to do. Now, how could his son do a miracle? Oh, no, wait a minute. Somebody wrote, he did not actually kill, he had some goats. He killed the goats. Aha, and you're willing to believe that? Are you trying to tell me that a mystical master would play a trick on his own disciples? Do something else and say something else? Is it possible? Are you willing to bow before such a master who tells a lie straight-faced? लोकां नूं दस्से कि मैं बंदे मार के आया अंदर एक्चुअली बकरे मारदा होवे ऐसा झूठ बोलने वाला गुरु हो सकता? We repeat that story every 13th of April.
Why?
Because we believe in a lie. Just as that. Every religion has created those lies and they keep on repeating.
Religion cannot run unless there is a miracle.
People believe in miracles. So a Sikh who believes in that will say, no, he is a master, he is a guru, he has mystical powers, he could do that, he did that. That's it. That's why he's a guru. What's Gurbani bringing us back to? He's saying, you need to stay out of this. If you are going to, you're going to have to grow the strength to say it and walk alone. People will call you a heretic. They will call your words blasphemy. They will condemn you because you are not following the herd mentality. You are willing to walk alone. Only then this journey is going to mean something. And that's why Gurbani says, hey, Jeso Sair Meliye Tilna Pujavero. Hundreds of thousands of those writers are not going to be able to come anywhere close to the reality. कीमत किने ना पाई है. Nobody has been able to do that. Nobody will ever do that. Accept that as a reality. But if I do that, then I have to leave my tribe, I have to leave my family, I have to leave my city, I may have to leave my country, I may have to disappear to the world. But that's what is Sab sun sune aakhe soye. All people are repeating just what they have heard. Peer, Paigambar, Salik, Sadiq, Sohde, or Shaheed. These are all the titles in Islamic culture. The Peer, Paigambar means the Paigambar, the one who brings the message. Salik means the one who guides you, the rasta dete ne. Sadiq, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਧਨਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ. Sohde or Shaheed. Sohde means the one, those are who are Mustafkiran di tarah rehnde ne. Now, these are all different titles of various Sheikh, Masaik, Kaji, Mullah, Dar Darwez, Rasid. Another list of titles. Those who are there, Barkat Tinko Agli Parde Ran Darud. Only those who continue on that path, get it? Parde ran darud. Darud means dua, the prayer. Continue in the memory of the Creator. Unless those are there, rest of them are only talking. Puch na saje, puch na tae, puch na deve le, apni kudrat ape jane, ape karan kare, sabna vekhe nadaraj karje bhave tande. He does not consult anybody, and he does not accept anybody's recommendation. Now this is something which is completely revolutionary. Sikhism will tell you that what is hidden behind the word prayer. What's the prayer? God, either do this or do not do that. Isn't it? We want him to stop doing something that we don't like. Right? We tell our children, please God, take care of my grandma. She is feeling sick. And grandma said, please make sure my child grows healthy. And I said, right. If he's going to grow healthy, he's going to grow healthy. If he's not going to grow healthy, he's not going to grow healthy. A prayer means tell the God to do something or stop doing something that he is doing. Both of things are wrong. So what's required? What should we be saying instead? What Jesus said at his last moment. Thy will be done. जो कर रहे हैं सो वाह वाह, जो कीता ही सो वाह वाह, जो करेगा सो वाह वाह. That's it. That's it. Whatever you're doing is fine. And it becomes totally illogical to our mind. How can that be? I just found out from the doctor that I have a cancer of the throat, and you're telling me I should say whatever you have done is right? Yeah. It was done only because that's all that could be done. Nothing that cannot be done will ever be done. If it is happening, it was supposed to be done. If it's not happening, it was supposed not to happen. So Sikhism takes the meditator away from this nonsense and say, you just learn to accept. Get into the accepting mode. Practice acceptance. Whatever is presented to you, learn to accept. Learn to surrender to the higher will than who you are. Puch na saje. He does not ask anybody when he creates. Puch na tae. When he destroys, he does not ask anybody permission. And he's not going to do that. That's not his nature. That's creative energy doesn't have that habit. Puch na deve le apni kudrat ape jane ape karna kare. He knows what needs to be done. And only what is being done was supposed to be what was supposed to be done. And it's going on. It will continue to be so. Sabna vekhe nadar karje bhave tande. He is not discriminatory. Anybody who gets to the state, kedi, usti nadar da patar. है ना? Karmi aave kapada nadari mokh dwar. Means what? कर्म सिर्फ शरीर लियांदा है। जे तेन शरीर नहीं चाहिए तो उसकी नदर का पात्र बन जा। नदरी अगर मुक्ति का द्वारा चाहिए उसकी नदर का पात्र बन। गेट वर्दी ऑफ हिज ग्रेस, बिकम वर्दी ऑफ हिज ग्रेस। इफ यू वांट टू चेंज एनीथिंग, if it's any different, you need to get to that state of consciousness where he has grace over you. That's all. There's nothing else can be done. थावा नाम ना जानिए, नावा केवड़ नाव, जिथे वसे मेरा पातशाह सो केवड़ है था। Nobody knows. थावा नाव ना जानिए. Nobody knows how to name him properly. There is no name for him. These are all imaginations, because language came after he did. Hence, language is a human creation. We are his creation, and his creation does not have the capability to name him. पिता का जन्म कै जाने पूत. If you ask the son to describe the environment under which his father was born, he has no knowledge of that. How is he going to do that? Right? When we ask, what is God and how is God, what are we doing? The intellect is asking the question of the time when the intellect itself wasn't born. Intellect came way, way after that. So that's why I use this metaphor that a grandfather has a grandchild on his shoulders and they are going to a wedding and the child is having a ball. New clothes, lot of sweets, lot of toys, lot of gifts. On the way home, the grandchild asks the grandfather, "Hey granddad, were you married also?" So, "Yes son, I also had a marriage." "Oh, I'm never going to talk to you now." "How come?" "Well, you didn't invite me." See, I could have gotten more toys and more sweets. And what should the grandfather do?
You're not born yet.
Would he understand that? Which is what's going on with us. The intellect isn't born and asking the question of the moment before him. And the mystic is saying, stop asking that question. There is no answer to that. You can't understand it. When he was, you weren't born yet. You cannot conceive it. Even if I explained to you, you wouldn't understand. So what should the child do then? Well, get to the state where you can understand that. Grow up. Where? In that dimension. Not in this dimension. Start growing in that dimension. पुछ न साजे पुछ न टाए पुछ न दे वेले अपनी कुदरत अजाने आपे करन करे सब ना वेखे नदर कर जे भावे तां दे थावा नाम न जानिए नावा केवड़ नाव जिथे वसे मेरा पातशाह सो केवड़ है था. Stop arguing where he is living and what kind of place he is living. He is in you. If you cannot see God in all, you cannot see God at all. Stop arguing this. No, that's the holy place where God lives there. And Gurbani is debunking that myth. He says, stop arguing about that. Ambar koi na sakai ho kisko no puchon jao. You see, it is impossible. Nobody can ever get to that, get those answers. So, stop. That is a meaningless effort. Varna bhavani je kis vadda kare vadde hath vadiyaiyan jai bhave ta de. Stop arguing why he has it and I don't. Actually, there is a beautiful story in Judaism. there were slaves in that time frame, and so the slaves are making bricks, and then in the evening they are being given reward for the labor. And the guy had some in front of him, and one of them came and he just picked up the whole thing and threw it in his lap. The people who are following behind, they got mad. Give us that too. And a beautiful metaphor. He says, is this wealth mine? Yes. Do I have a right on this because it's mine? He says, yeah. Can I throw it? Of course you can throw it. Can I burn it? Of course you can burn it. So why can't I give it away? What right you have? Whatever your proper labor is being given to you. If the other was given more, it's my wish. It's my happiness. It's my desire. Who are you to object to it? We do that all the time. If all grace is His, and we are good, we have a story that somebody was praying all day and night, and God appeared to him and says, "What do you want?" He said, "Well, I have few desires." So, okay, I can fulfill all of your desires with one condition. So, what is that? Whatever you got, your neighbor is going to get the double. But he cannot accept that reality. So after so much of meditation, look what he does. He said, God, then take one eye away. Oh, now the neighbor is completely blind. He says, put one ditch in front of my home. His neighbor has 2 ditches. And the rest is okay. He's blind. There are 2 ditches in front of the home. There's no way for him to survive. That's how the human mind works. I'm willing to lose my one eye so long as my neighbor loses 2. Don't do that. Become grace. He knows what he needs to do. Whatever he's giving to whosoever is giving, how much he's giving. That's all. As a matter of fact, whatever he's giving you is more than what you deserve. What have you done to deserve this? Can you name it? What did I do to become a man? Can I name it? What did I do to get this human body? Can I name it? Can anybody name it? Isn't this a grace? Isn't this a gift? He could have made me a lizard, but he made me a human. Is not grace enough? I still want more. I haven't thanked enough for this. There's no way for me to pay the price for that. I didn't become a lizard, I became a human. Is there a way to pay him back for that? No, all you can say is thank you. But we don't. We don't even do that. We still say, you haven't done that for me. And Gurbani says, get out of that trap. If you want to go on that path, you will have to forget about it. अंबड़ कोई ना सकी हों किसनो पूछो वरना वरना भावनी जे किस वड्डा करे जिसने उन्हें वड्डा करना है वो कर रहा है उसको. He is doing that. वड्डे हाथ वड्डियां. It is his work. He is doing that work. जै भावे तैं दे. Whosoever he wills, whatever he wills is going to that person. हुक्म सवारे अपना चसा टेल ना करे. Chasa means even a fraction of a moment. He does not waste time. If you are not getting something, all you need to know is that that was not meant for you. That's it. Stop arguing. सबको आखे बहुत बहुत लेने के विचार. That's what is going on. The whole world has only one desire. Give me more. लेने के विचार. केवट दाता आखिए दे के रया समार. But look, whether you ask for it or whether you don't, He still does. The amazing reality is that the creation, before the creation comes, its sustenance comes first, ahead of the creation. Can you visualize that? Most of the mothers should be able to experience it. The child is not born yet, but the milk is already there. Is it not? Isn't milk there? Every female experiences it. As soon as she becomes pregnant, where is the soreness first? Breast. Stomach hasn't started growing yet. The breast has swollen. The milk glands are already working. Why? The creation is to come. It needs the sustenance. The earth was created first. Human afterward. Because the human needed the sustenance. It's nature law. All the feeds are always first. Never afterwards. Our world is different. We work first and get the payment afterwards. Isn't it?
God gives first.
But God gives
Provides
first.
first.
It provides first. Before He actually creates you. And oh, by the way, here the reward is given as you work. Whereas from Him, reward is given all at once. आसन लोए लोए भंडार जो किछ पाया सो एकावा. The entire universe, its sustenance has been created all at once. It's not that come next week I'll give you more, come next week I'll give you more. It's already there. And it's a universal law for every type of creation. सबको आंखें बहुत बहुत लेने के विचार केवल दाता आंखिए. That's the data. That's the giver. De ke raya suman, and he's given it and he's forgotten about it. So yeah, go. It's already there. Nanak tot na avi tere juge juge pandhar. And it's not just one day. It's not just 1 month. Ki jughe jughe pandhar. Through the time immemorial, it has always been this way and it will continue to be so. So this is the hymn for today with the message. You have to decide. It's a choice. Totally independent choice. Nobody will come down and twist your arms and say, thou shalt be like this. You have to choose it. And if you choose it, then be sincere. And keep only one aim in mind. I want to experience you. May God give us the strength and the grace that these words should take roots in our heart so that the life can have a revolution and its meaning and its purpose be fulfilled. With that, I thank you all for coming.